Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
It's 7:07. It's O'Connor and Company. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. We've got a lot to get to here. Coming up at 8:05, Maryland Delegate Mark Fisher on, you will not believe what they're up to in Annapolis for Maryland, because Maryland isn't crazy and liberal enough. 8:35 brings us John Lott on a Supreme Court argument today having to do with gun laws. It's Larry O'Connor with Cassie Smedile in for an upbeat and healing Julie Gunlock, who is on the road to recovery. Meredith and I got to spend a couple of hours with her yesterday. She's doing great. She misses you all. She misses being on the air. She's doing everything she can to get back here. If you want more information about Julie and what's going on, go to givesendgo.com/Julie Gunlock, and you can let us know that you're praying for her as well. We appreciate it. Cassie, good morning.
Good morning. We are praying for her, and we're excited for her to be back just as soon as she can. But I'm happy to be with you today.
Thank you for that. And we're happy to have you. Daniel Turner is the founder and executive director of Power of the Future, and there's some insanity coming out of Richmond right now. Boy, oh boy, I remember saying, because we were like skeptics, I don't know about Winsome Sears, and I said, I'll tell you this, I know one thing about her, she will veto all the stupid things the Democrats will want to do. It's like, at least there's that. It was like the one saving grace about Larry Hogan in Maryland, too. Trust me, I have big issues with Larry Hogan. But for everybody's like, I'd rather have a Democrat than a rhino. No, you wouldn't. Because look at what you got going here right now. Daniel Turner is with us. Daniel, I don't know where to start. I mean, from gas and oil to greenhouse emissions to ICE to service animals. They want to tax service animals, Daniel.
It's a remarkable. It's been a remarkable week. I can't believe it's Friday because the things that came out. I mean, yesterday was the longest Monday.
Mr. Turner, it is only Tuesday.
That was the longest Monday in recorded memory. Every 5 seconds, a new piece of legislation was coming out of Richmond. This was planned. No one can write legislation this fast. Obviously, it was all insane. What ticked me off was clearly the environmental stuff, which we'll get to. But besides being your favorite oil shill, in my spare time, I also raise service animals. People who have special needs, who need a dog. The first stage of that dog's life, it's a puppy, right? And puppies aren't very practical for service animals. So puppies have to spend the first 18 months with someone who teaches them basic commands, how to fetch, how to socialize. And that's what we do here at my farm, my better half and I. We've done this for a while, and it's wonderful. You raise this little puppy. You take it to class every 2 weeks with other preparing service puppies. And then you watch it go to college, and you see it graduate to be a full-time companion. It's tough when you say goodbye, but you're doing this to make someone's life better. So when I saw this legislation that said they are putting a 4% tax, 3.8% tax on service animals, I called Virginia's delegate, Vivian Watts, who's 85, by the way. I called her office and asked, of course, no one had an answer. They promised they would get back to me. I will call again today. Why are we taxing service animals for special needs people with a $2.7 billion budget surplus? Finally, as I cruelly put on social media, finally the handicapped are paying their fair share, right? Like it's about time someone taxed the handicapped.
Right, getting after. I mean, it is wild because it's like if it walks, it talks. If it moves, but you said you were going to get to. It's like, what is it? It's a fee on. It's a tax on gas leaf blowers, but a fee on electric ones. So, which is it?
Yeah.
It's spoiler alert. It was never about the environment. It was just about how much of you can they control, how much of your money can they siphon away from you. I mean, I only moved to Virginia a year ago. I thought I was getting ready away from the madness of D.C., and now I'm like, what have we signed up for?
Yeah, it's remarkable to see. I think the frustrating thing for people who do this for a living, which obviously you cover politics for a living on this wonderful show, and I am involved in it from the energy perspective. It's just very angering that Abigail Spanberger lied for a solid year and a half, and the media let her get away with it.
Yes.
You know, she found herself an American flag. She found herself a pickup truck. She talked about how she loves the country and she'll always do what's right. They never run on these principles, right? They run on, I am just like you, I care about you. But as soon as you give Democrats power, they show their true colors. And you can say what you want about Donald Trump, and a lot of people do, but Donald Trump said exactly what the hell he was going to do, and he is doing it. There is no surprise. He said he was going to go after Greenland, right? There is no surprise about Donald Trump. And Abigail Spanberger and the Democrats and Jay Jones, when he's not trying to kill our children because they're Republican, all of them just lie to your face until you give them power, and then they tax service animals.
Daniel Turner is our guest with Power of the Future. Daniel, let's talk about this greenhouse gas thing because, again, as Cassie just said, it's all under the guise of, climate change and saving the planet. Yeah. Abigail Spanberger and her fellow Democrats all ran and won on the idea of affordability. Things cost too much. Well, explain to our listeners exactly what the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative is and how, again, objectively speaking, without any political bias, it's just a fact, this will make life more expensive for anyone who wants to turn on a light switch in Virginia.
Absolutely. Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative also goes by the sweet-sounding acronym RGGI. And RGGI is what Obama used to call cap and trade, which Republicans, mounted their defense and defeated when he was in office. And cap and trade is the exact same principle. We set some environmental standard at X. And if your factory, your power plant, your automotive dealer, if whatever it is, if they can't reach our arbitrary deadline, then we tax you, or our arbitrary target, then we tax you above that. And we give that money to environmental causes. We give that money to promote whatever the hell we want it to. All of the states from Virginia above, all the way to Virginia North, all the way to Maine, are all members of RGGI. Guess who has the lowest electricity rates of all of those states? Virginia, because Glenn Youngkin pulled us out of RGGI. Guess who now is back in RGGI? Virginia, right? Josh Shapiro, the Democrat governor of Pennsylvania, pulled his state out of RGGI, and Pennsylvania's electricity per kilowatt hour is around 17 cents. New York, it's 30. Rhode Island, it's 35. Maine, it's 27. Maryland, it's 25. So all of those states pay a ton more for electricity, and Virginia is now going to follow suit because climate change or whatever the hell Virginia Spanberger claims.
Oh, yeah, because a handful of states on the East Coast of the United States of America are going to single-handedly change the temperature of the planet. By the way, a temperature goal that nobody can tell you. I'm sorry. What is the ideal temperature for planet Earth? Do you know what the answer? No one can tell you the answer to that question, Dan.
7.
Because it's about power and it's about control. 7.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Daniel can tell you. Daniel Turner.
Again, just make up a number. That's the same, Larry, as how many parts per million should come out of this factory. It's not science that determines the number. It's the same number as Joe Biden saying by 2030, 50% of cars have to be EV. Where did those numbers come from? They pulled them out of their butt, right? They're made up by lobbyists. They're made up by politicians. There's no number. It's the famous, Milton Friedman joke, how many Chinese restaurants can be on a street in New York City? As many as the market wants, right? But there's no answer to that. But when you get the power to put arbitrary numbers on climate, well, then you have the power to ruin people's lives because your artificial number hasn't been met.
Daniel Turner, he is our favorite shill for big oil. He is the founder of Power of the Future. And Daniel, just a blatant attempt to humanize yourself by telling us that you raised service animals and puppy dogs for special needs individuals. It's not going to work for us.
Good
we know that you are a monster who wants to destroy the planet, and nothing will convince us otherwise.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But look at what cheap energy has done for the country in just 1 year of the president, right? Look at gas prices. We don't talk about egg prices anymore because those are back to below where they were. All prices are headed in this direction because cheap energy is cheap life, and cheap, affordable life is good for the economy, and it's good for families. And it's government that makes these things so damn expensive. And Abigail Spanberger is just going to follow what Joe Biden did. Government.
Amen, brother. And of course, we love to kid Daniel because he is a friend of the program. And I would love to come down and see your operation there, training your service animals, because I am a huge fan of service animals. My relationship with them goes way back with the Guiding Eyes Foundation back, 25 years ago in Los Angeles. So thank you for doing that, Daniel. And you're a good man. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Great to be on with you.
It is.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Meanwhile, Maryland is not safe from the insanity. Everybody was buzzing. But, I was in Virginia. As I mentioned, I was visiting Julie Gunlock yesterday, and so I was in Fairfax for a little while. I was in Alexandria, of course. Had dinner in Alexandria at our favorite Landini Brothers. We love the Landini Brothers in Old Town, don't we?
Oh, so good.
So at Landini Brothers, and I kid you not, from the waiter to the table next to us that had one of the priests from St. Mary's Parish, to the people at the bar behind us, everyone was talking about the Maryland Sphere. Yeah. So I don't know if y'all have heard about this, but the big Las Vegas Sphere. Mm-hmm. Maryland wants to install one at National Harbor right by the MGM or the Gaylord. I mean, the rendering I saw puts it right next to the MGM, which, of course, because we need an excuse for drivers on the Beltway to slow down and be distracted right there.
Oh, sure.
Right before the Woodrow Wilson Bridge or right as you're coming off the Woodrow Wilson Bridge because, the traffic patterns are so smooth and efficient right there as it is. Mm-hmm. So let's put a giant glowing, sphere that's going to distract everybody and make people look over at the MGM Grand. But what are these morons thinking? And then add to that the only way this thing happens is if they get $200 million of subsidies from Prince George's County and from the state of Maryland? Because we have money to spare.
Right. Of course. It has to be that way. Well, and then did you see this? I know you did. That now they're also saying, okay, where do we get the electricity for this? We were just talking about electricity costs. I'm sure that's going to help reduce Marylanders' electricity costs.
Oh, we're already on the verge of rolling blackouts in Maryland right now. The electricity is already somewhat spotty because of the lack of supply. And then Governor Westmore, instills these demands that you've got, we're going to get rid of the internal combustion engine. Oh, really? When you can't keep the lights on right now in the Capitol. So, it's going to be ridiculous. But the people who have been looking at it, the Las Vegas Sphere. Now, this is not going to be as big as the Sphere in Las Vegas, but it's still going to be sizable. If you look at the rendering, that's a big ball.
Yeah.
We're
just going to gloss over that. Yeah.
The Las Vegas Sphere uses apparently 28 megawatts. It's enough power for 21,000 homes in Maryland. But since 2012, Democrats in Annapolis have closed every single coal power plant in Maryland, eliminating about 4,000 megawatts of power generation capacity. In 2012, coal produced over half of Maryland electricity. Today, it's less than 5%. And good luck trying to get some, like nuclear power. Or something. No, because windmills are going to fix it all. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, put windmills in the Chesapeake Bay or off, Ocean City, and that will power everything. Oh, give me a break. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, not only will it not work, the millionaires don't want their views interrupted off the coast. So aren't they the ones poo-pooing the windmills?
Yes, they don't like it either. Yes.
This is crazy.
One thing going for it is, though, that it does, this sphere, somewhat resemble Wes Moore's bald head. So I guess maybe this
is his ode to himself.
Maybe that's what's going on here. Maryland has a $1.5 billion deficit. Wes Moore is offering $13.5 million in state incentives to Sphere Entertainment. That includes a $10 million capital grant proposed in the fiscal 27 budget. I wonder if there are any campaign donations going back to the Wes Moore reelection fund from Sphere Entertainment and other interested groups. Meanwhile, Wes Moore tweeted out a picture of himself, because he does that a lot. He's such a narcissist, that said, excited for Maryland to become home to the next Sphere in the United States. And it's got a picture of him surveying the Sphere in Vegas. I wonder what else he was doing in Vegas. You hear stories. Maryland Delegate Mark Fisher will join us at 8:05 to discuss this and other craziness coming out of Annapolis. Right now it's 7:23.
WMAL FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 7:37 here on a busy Tuesday morning in your nation's capital. I know it's busy for you every day, but it's busy for us too. And let's face it, we have a pretty easy gig here, Cassie Smedile. We just sit on our duff and talk about things.
Right, while everybody else has to deal with the traffic.
Well, we help them in that regard every 10 minutes. First on the fives. And when I say first on the fives, I mean other places you might go for traffic outside of your smartphone or your sat nav in your car. See, now that I think about it, there's a lot of places to get to. But other places on the airwaves, they're not on the fives. They're on some other number higher than 5. That's why we're first. On the fives. Now, another radio station, theoretically, could start delivering great traffic to you on the 3s, and then they would claim they're first on the 3s, right? But they're not. And there's no alliteration there. I guess they could be first on the 4s and retain the alliteration. The point is, we are first. We are on the 5s. And unlike all those other pretenders, we have Jamie freaking Whitten, okay?
That is the trump card. For sure.
So to speak. I don't know why you make everything political.
Just like you make everything about Michigan and football.
That's right. Oh, speaking of which, Big Ten college football team, Indiana, the Hoosiers won the national championship last night, and in attendance was, let's make it political, President Trump and a whole gaggle of Trumps. Boy, he brought all the Trumps there, didn't he?
Sure. Well, Florida's kind of home base for so many of them now, right?
I guess that's
they were in
true.
The area, I guess. But yeah,
and when they showed him on the big screen there during the national anthem, there was quite a rousing response because let's face it, you had it's in Miami, and Miami-Dade County went full Trump this last time around. It's in Florida, the state went full Trump. You're right, he's a neighbor up there in West Palm Beach. You can take a beautiful train from Miami up to West Palm Beach. Now they have a high speed. It's not high speed technically, but it's pretty efficient. It's a private train. It's not Amtrak either. From the airport to West, it's very cool actually.
Wow. Okay.
Plus, aside from all of that, the stadium was full of Indiana Hoosiers, and Indiana is a pretty solid Trump state as well, despite the fact that the state Senate refused to redistrict the state in favor of President Trump's party, the Republicans. That said, huge reception for the president there down in Miami for the college football championship.
Yeah, they panned to him during the national anthem, and the crowd went wild. I mean, but it really was a really cool moment.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Well, I'll tell you, it's funny. There's something about football fans in particular and this president. When I first experienced it in his first Army-Navy game, and I wasn't sure what to expect. It was in Philadelphia, and I recognized that there was, the stadium was full of families of midshipmen and West Point cadets as well as retired military. You didn't know. I knew there would be respectful response for the president, but it was right after the 2016 election. It was right after, all of the BS about, Russian collusion and this and that and what have you. And the place went nuts, just absolutely nuts. The Army-Navy game is consistently a huge, huge venue for Trump love. at the football game. It's like palpable. And, Joe Biden did not attend one as as commander-in-chief.
Not one? I knew he didn't go every year, clearly, but I didn't realize one.
Nope.
And, you talk about how...
He went once as vice president.
Oh.
He went once as vice president.
But probably for the best. I mean, because they would have been respectful, as you said. But President Trump, when he goes to these football games, whether it's Army, Navy, or the National Championship, or these SEC games, those are his people, his kind of people.
Yes.
Even if they didn't vote for him, he understands that space. And it makes sense when he's there. He likes sports. He can talk about it. He can be there. He fits in. There's something about that works, which is why I think it's a good venue for him, too.
By the way, you can say the same for our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, huge sports fan, huge football fan, and, oh, by the way, Florida man.
Right.
So despite the fact I believe he's a Florida grad, his son is playing football for the Gators, but because it was a Florida team, the University of Miami, who was engaged in this game, and it was in Miami, he was there actually on the field. And our buddy Clay Travis, fellow talk show host there and also proprietor of Outkick, the sports outlet, he met up with the Secretary of State. Here's how that conversation went.
Clay Travis, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Florida Gators star Anthony, his son. We're going to get into this in a sec. You're a monster college football and NFL fan. How awesome is this with all the other things going on?
It's storybook. Fernando, the quarterback in Indiana, is a kid who runs in the same circle as my son, a couple years older. And then Mario I've known for 25 years, and obviously being down here in Miami. And so it's actually a storybook setting in Miami with these two Miami connections. It's been a great game. That's what we hope to see.
You said that you were not going to be the next GM or head coach of the Miami Dolphins. You got enough jobs.
That's right.
Where does that rank on ultimate fantasy jobs, though?
Oh, it's good. When I'm done with this?
Yeah.
I'm all ready for it after that. I got a job to do for a couple more years here, 2-3 more years, and then I'll be ready.
So you and I and everybody here, monster college football fans, your son plays for the University of Florida, scored in the bowl game a year ago. I'll ask you about that in a sec, but for you, what is it like to watch your son play major college football like that?
It's good, man. I've always felt like football, when it contributes to your life, look, if you learn how to show up on time and do your job, that's 90% of life. And you learn that, and then just to have the opportunity, not just as a fan of the football program at Florida, but to have my son be a part of it. It's a great school. It's very rewarding, and it'll pay dividends long-term for him as well.
I've been saying this since the whole Colin Kaepernick thing and taking a knee and some of the problems that the NFL had. For the most part, football players, college and pro football, they are conservative. Rush Limbaugh used to talk about this all the time. When you meet them, they all pray, almost all of them to a man, pray because they know how dangerous the game is, and they pray for protection and healing for their fans. But also, football is such a team sport. You need to contribute. If you're not contributing, you are, and it's about hard work. It's about bringing it, and everyone needs to be on the same page. Everyone needs to be working for the excellence and striving every day and getting better every day. There's just something about the sport. And it's kind of cool to see it manifest, especially through leadership. Did you catch that? He said, "I've got a job to do for the next 2 or 3 years," and I think maybe he has his eyes on some other jobs.
I know. Is that him officially saying, "I'm not running"? Are we to read into that? Because it's 2-3 years, then it's on the table.
I would not read into that.
I don't know.
In that way.
Keeping us guessing. He's like Trump. Trump might run for a third term, and then Marcos.
Who knows? Who knows? All right. He also
cool.
mentioned Fernando. That would be Fernando Mendoza, the star quarterback for the Hoosiers and the Heisman Trophy winner. I want you to hear what he had to say after the game. He's become sort of a rising star, again, not just in football, obviously, but within conservative Christians in this country, where he wears his Catholicism on his sleeve boldly and proudly and humbly. And we're going to share that with you in a moment. And where Trump goes now after the football game, that's kind of a big deal, too. It's 7:44.
Later this morning on the Chris Plant Show, Democrat Eric Swalwell knows what he wants to do with ICE agents.
Prosecute them for battery, false imprisonment, and murder.
9 a.m. on WMAL.
Fourth quarter, you're leading by just 3 points, and coach decides to go for it on fourth down. What did he say to you in that huddle, and how did you execute it?
That's one thing about our team. We're always going to put all on the line. And, I want to give all the glory and thanks to God there. My offensive lineman blocked perfectly, and we're able to execute the team towards a common goal, have the Indiana Hoosier synergy to score, and then give our team a chance to win the game.
How did you get it in there, though? You had to go airborne, Fernando.
I had to go airborne, and I'll die for my team. Whatever they need me to do, they need me to take, shots from the front and the back, whatever it is, I'm going to die for my team out there, and I know they're going to do the same for me. That's what makes us so close. That's what makes this national championship so special.
Show my cameraman right there your arm. You can't imagine the beating this young man took last night.
I mean, shout out to Miami defense. You can see why their two edges are first-round picks. I mean, it was going to be a physical game. And, we had to play physical, and we did play physical. We elevated it, and it's victory so sweet for everybody, for the entire Hoosier Nation, but also, it's super sweet to myself. I was a 2-star recruit coming out of high school. I got declined to walk on offer to the University of Miami. Full circle moment here, playing in Miami for all the friends and family. I can't thank Coach Nettie enough, and Coach Whitmer, and Coach Anna for taking a chance on me, and just give all the glory to God.
All the glory to God. This is not a sports story, Cassie. This goes well beyond that. This is human achievement, and it's and there's definitely. I know people will cynically say, "I think God has more on His hands than worrying about a football team." No. God is everywhere. Mm-hmm. God is everywhere, and this story, it's epic. Absolutely epic.
Think of the evangelization of that moment, of the number of people who said, "Maybe I'll go to church this weekend." Maybe, as we were just saying, I was going, oh my gosh, I hope when my daughter goes to college, there's a Fernando there that she can meet, and maybe they'll meet at church. And you were talking about how your daughter met her husband through a church life community, and that
through Focus, the on-campus Catholic group. Yep.
Yes, and what that brings to your life, and what it says about you and your character and building that character. And of course, we've learned about the story of Fernando's parents, and I just have to say that image of his dad sitting right there with his mom, who is in a wheelchair because I believe she has MS, but that showing out that the character just there in their marriage and the example he has at home. Anyway, it's one for the books for sure.
It sure is. All right, so the president is back in town from his enjoyment of that incredible historic college football game there, and now we have a third national championship in a row coming from the Big Ten. That would be Michigan, Ohio State, and Indiana. Take that, SEC. And now the president will have a regular day here in Washington before he heads to Davos, where the president will be bringing the largest American contingent ever to the World Economic Forum, which, by the way, sort of cuts across a lot of the Bannon wing of the America First agenda, which is sort of like anti-globalism. And I don't think the president is going to preach globalism. He's going there to talk about how America is the dominant economy and military force on the planet, and if any of those people want to do any business with us, they're going to have to know that it's only going to happen if it's in our interest. But the fact that he's even showing so much respect and deference to the World Economic Forum by showing up and bringing this, again, the largest American contingent ever, it says something. But one wonders how dominant the Greenland conversation will be. Or one wonders if he has started all of this Greenland stuff right now specifically to sort of distract while he goes there, and as he walks away, be like, yeah, they were all focused over there on Greenland, and meanwhile, I actually delivered this.
Mm-hmm. I think it's that because we see that these EU leaders, it's all they're talking about heading into that. And he's setting the agenda, not just the message, not just what everybody's talking about, but the agenda. He is, I think, beating them at their own game.
I think the more I think about it, I think that's it. Because if he didn't have the Greenland thing going into Davos, all those European countries would be saying, what's America going to do about Ukraine? Yes. What's America going to do about climate change? What's America going to do about China? What's America going to do about this? Basically with their hands out, saying, making demands of America. Instead, he said, all right, what are you going to do for me about Greenland?
Right.
And then let's see how that conversation goes at the end of the day.
Yes.
I think that might be what's at play here. Or he just wants Greenland.
It's definitely one of the two.
It's 7:53.